Ford is taking a charge of $19.5 billion US on its electric vehicle business, and it's killing off several EV models. US President Donald Trump's policy is not favorable to zero-emission vehicles. Let's get a Canadian perspective here. We're joined by Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. Flavio, it is a bit of a depressing list, isn't it? GM was making those electric vans in Ingersoll, Ontario. They cut back production. Honda postponing a $15 billion EV project in Ontario. Stellantis postponing the Dodge Charger electric in Windsor. And Ford was planning to build electric vehicles in Oakville, Ontario, but that plan has been put on hold. So we've been hit by this cutback in EVs, haven't we?
Boy, what a list you just gave.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, fundamentally, these companies are not charities and they're not state-owned enterprises like the Chinese. So they've got to make a profit to invest into new product, and they've got to make a product to be able to continue to produce vehicles and be going concerns. And so what Ford said yesterday fundamentally is, look, we put our money where our mouth was. We're writing down almost $20 billion. Doesn't mean it means that we didn't just protest from the sidelines. We gave it a shot. Part of the shot was premised on the fact that the U.S. Government, especially during the Biden administration, was so committed to it that it was going to subsidize production of electric vehicles and batteries, but also subsidize purchases and subsidize the infrastructure to charge and service these vehicles. Mm-hmm. When the Trump administration turned a full 180 on all three of those, they killed whatever short to midterm market potential there was for these vehicles. And unlike the Chinese-owned enterprises, Ford could only go to the market or they can go to the capital markets. And what they said was, we believe in electrification. We believe that that's part of extended range vehicles, hybrids that everybody likes, as a step into battery electric. There's no coincidence that the president last week, with the Ford CEO present, reduced the fuel economy targets for out years to say, okay, let's try it this way.
And of course, we've had disappointments on the battery front. Umicore, Belgian company, was going to build an Ontario EV battery materials plant for almost $3 billion. That's been put on hold. And now apparently Volkswagen, it's kind of a confusing story. They are seeking alternative sources of financing for their battery EV business because they're supposed to be building a giant factory in Ontario.
Yeah, look, Umicore, I think you're reporting properly on that. On PowerCo, we spoke with the company, government spoke with the company, in the last few days and weeks. They do have a business model that works. They've got a plant to build Scouts, a resurrected brand in South Carolina starting next year, as well as the current electric production in Tennessee and in Puebla, Mexico. And the plant in St. Thomas is the only one making batteries for those. But it is tough times, even for the ones that, even for the biggest companies in the world.
Right. So the Umicore plant is going ahead, is it?
No, I think Umicore is look, they're the only ones in that space. That space just got a lot smaller.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure it's a lot tougher going than when they cut the ribbon on that announcement a few years ago. But I'm saying that the PowerCo one is, things haven't changed for demand within the Volkswagen group for those batteries. And I'm pretty confident in St. Thomas, as I've always been.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Could the federal government have done more to encourage electric vehicle investment in Canada?
No, I think they did a pretty good job. They matched incredibly high production subsidies to get those investments in Canada rather than the U.S. And a lot of debate. I don't know how many times you had me on to try to defend the math, but they also structured the deal in different ways than we've seen in co-investments in the last 20 years, which is those billions were dependent on production. Make the batteries, show us the production evidence, and then will flow funds against that. And so I think the federal government, I think the industry here, everybody wants to see profitable electrification, but Canadians are not on tap for billions of dollars of subsidies until those things are made. And so when you see bad news, it's terrible news for workers and suppliers, but it isn't the same pain and punishment for taxpayers because those billions have not flown.
We've less than 30 seconds left. Just update us. You were involved in building a kind of pilot, a test rig for a Canadian electric vehicle. Did that ever go anywhere, or could we ever see an independent Canadian-made EV?
Well, go to the Canadian International Auto Show in February, and you'll see that Project Aero 2.0. It's not easy. If it was easy, my dog would do it, but we are still absolutely dedicated to it. You'll see the updated version there.
Thanks very much, Flavio. Great hearing from you. Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association.